Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to our second virtual meeting, and this is Human Resource Planning and Career Development. I'm delighted to uh, present to you what are essential in the first module and some information from the second module. So, as we navigate the challenging landscape of modern organizations, the ability to effectively manage people and cultivate strong team skills is more critical than ever. Okay, the next few minutes, we will delve into the intricacies of the course, uncovering its relevance in our academic and professional journeys in the public sector. Together, we will gain insights into the principles of effective people management, the dynamics of high performing teams, and the indispensable skills required to thrive in a diverse workplace environments. Before that, let's put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord.
Salamat po, o dakilang may lalak, sa mga gabing mahimbing kami sa pagtulog sa mapayapang tanglaw ng mga tala at buwan. Salamat po sa aming bawat paggising sa umaga na sinasalubong kami ng masiglang sikat ng araw. Walang kasing sarap ang mabuhay at walang kasing saya ang makapiling ang mga mahal namin sa buhay. Kung ito man po ang bigay ninyong inspirasyon upang mapalaganap namin ang pagmamahal sa aming sarili, sa kapwa, sa kapaligiran, at sa aming bayan, tinatanggap po namin ang hamon na mag-alay naman ng paglilingkod para sa pangkalahatang kapakanan. Alam namin na ito ang wastong kapalit ng pang-araw-araw ninyong biyaya sa buong sangkatauhan. Lahat kami ay hinahayaan po ninyong dumaan sa paglalakbay ng aming mga buhay na may tungkulin namang mag-iwan ng bakas na kapakipakinabang sa aming bawat hakbang. Ipinalalasap din po ninyo sa amin ang masaganang biyaya ng kalikasan sa pamamagitan ng mahabagin ninyong kalooban. Naway maging katanggap-tanggap kami sa oras na kami ay hihimlay naman sa kandungan ng kalikasang binabasbasan ninyo na aming pangalagaan. Sumainyo ang luwalhati ng kataas-taasan. Kataas-taasang hinahangad namin naway maging kasing taas ng aming pag-abot sa hangarin na magkaroon ang aming bayan ng pagkakaisa, pag-unlad, at pangmatagalang kapayapaan.
We are lifting all of our prayers in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So, update for our assessments. I have received the first project, the TikTok Explainer. Project 2 is a case study writing. Project 3 is a research introduction and synopsis. Please don't forget the virtual discussion, class participation, and that's for 10%. There are 6 caselets that we need to respond to. And of course, lastly, our project 4 is the final requirement, that is the research proposal. Please take note that the reading that is provided in every module is supposed to be done during asynchronous classes and be reflected upon by the candidates. So there are 2 readings for module 1. For today, we're going to talk about the following: the 2023-2024 workforce trends, employee motivation, the basics. What are some of the motivational theories? I am quite certain that you are familiar with this already, as you are from the health sector. Negative and positive inequity, goals, goal setting, the job characteristics model. Let's take a look at very quickly the reading for the first module, HR trends for 2023 to 2024. We're going to have like a very quick overview of the case study analysis report. That's the next major project that we need to submit in this course, the references and what we're looking forward to. Workforce trends in 2024. 2023 actually presented a dynamic and rapidly changing workforce landscape. Organizations that adapt to the trends basically embraced flexibility, investing employee development. They addressed issues like diversity, equity, and inclusion, or we call it DEI. and it's likely to thrive in the ever evolving environment of human resources management. Okay, so 2024 work trends. Let me just check if we are recording this properly. Just very quickly, I'm going to just look if it is presenting. Yes, it's presenting. It's also recording. All right. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this one by one. What are the trends in 2023 that we've seen in 2023? And we think that it is still the trend for 2024. I want to log in. Okay. Anyway, let's begin with the hybrid and remote work. COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the adoption of remote work, and it continued to be significant this year. Many organizations are embracing hybrid work models. They allow employees to work both in the office and remotely. This flexibility has become a key consideration for talent recruitment and retention. Skill, reskilling, and upskilling. Rapid technological changes are driving a need for continuous learning. Employers are investing in reskilling and upskilling programs to keep their workforce relevant. Employees are also taking the initiative to acquire new skills to remain competitive in the job market, like what you're doing now. You're pursuing your Doctor of Public Administration to learn more and to be more adaptive to the changes in the public sector. Next, DEI. So DEI initiatives remain a priority as organizations recognize the value of diverse perspectives. So in 2024, there is an increased focus on creating inclusive workplaces, promoting gender and racial equality, and addressing biases in hiring and promotion processes. The gig economy. The gig economy continues to grow with more people opting to do freelance work or contract work or consultancy work, etc. So this trend offers flexibility, but it also raises questions about job security, benefits, and workers' rights. AI and automation. Automation and artificial intelligence are transforming the workforce. While they can improve efficiency, they also create concerns about job displacement. Upskilling and adapting to work alongside AI become an essential thing for us nowadays. Mental health and well-being, ito lagi na lang nating pinag-uusapan in the workplace. In fact, there are a lot of trainings, webinars, and seminars that we undergo for our mental health and well-being. Before, like 10 years before, it's not being talked too much, but right now it is one of the priorities and actually one of the trends in the workforce. So organizations are paying more attention now to employee mental health and well-being. The pandemic highlighted the importance of addressing mental health issues, leading to increased support such as employee assistance programs and flexible work hours. Remote work infrastructure, we've experienced this especially at the beginning and in the middle of COVID-19 pandemic. So with remote work becoming a long-term reality, companies are investing in improving remote work infrastructure, including cybersecurity, collaboration tools, and ergonomic home office setups. Next, talent shortages. Many industries are facing talent shortages in all right. So There are talent shortages, and it's quite distinguishable that it is actually critical in areas such as technology, healthcare, and skilled trades. So this is intensifying basically the competition for top talent and driving up wages in these fields. As we all know, our we have, somehow in the pandemic time, we've capped the number of nurses that we can allow to go out of the country to work elsewhere. Next, sustainability. Sustainability and corporate social responsibility are gaining importance. Employees and consumers are increasingly looking for environmentally conscious organizations. So these are actually influencing the hiring decisions and business practices of organizations, whether public or private. And lastly, that I would like to say, wellness and benefits. Beyond salary, employees are considering benefits like healthcare, childcare support, retirement plans when they are evaluating job offers. Organizations are adjusting their benefit packages to attract and to retain talents. Employee motivation is a crucial factor in determining the productivity, engagement, and overall success of an organization. So as stated by Maslow in 1943, sabi niya, and I quote, people are motivated to achieve certain needs, and some needs take precedence over others. Close quote. So the foundational theory of motivation, known as the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, highlights that individuals have various needs, both basic and higher order, which influence the motivation. Okay. So in the context of the workplace, all right. Employees are driven by a combination of intrinsic and extrinsic factors. Intrinsic motivation arises from within, often linked to a sense of purpose, achievement, and personal growth. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, involves external rewards or it can be some sort of a recognition, such as salary, bonuses, or promotions. Okay. Modern organizations recognize that a one size fits all approach to motivation doesn't work. They implement diverse strategies to meet the individual needs and preferences. For example, offering opportunities for skill development and autonomy can boost intrinsic motivation, while fair compensation and recognition programs can enhance extrinsic motivation. Employee motivation isn't static. It requires ongoing attention and adaptation. Regular feedback, clear communication, and a supportive work environment are essential for sustaining and enhancing motivation. As organizations continue to evolve, understanding and harnessing employee motivation remains critical to achieving organizational goals and fostering a positive and a nice workplace culture. Okay, content theories of motivation seek to identify the fundamental needs that drive individuals, while process theories delve into the cognitive and behavioral mechanisms that underlie motivated behavior. Organizations often use a combination of these theories to design comprehensive motivation strategies that address both the what, which is the content, and the how, which is process of employee motivation. Okay, so um, content theories of motivation, the application is often used to design compensation packages, benefits, and recognition systems that align with employees' underlying needs. So, For example, the process theories of motivation. All right. Because these theories are often used to design performance management systems, goal setting programs, and strategies for fostering employee engagement. Needs theories of motivation, such as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Alderfer's ERG theory. So these are actually emphasizing that individuals are driven to act by a hierarchy of fundamental needs. So these theories pose that people have a set of innate needs that must be satisfied in a specific order, with higher levels becoming motivating factors only once the lower level needs are met. So they have like the base, for example, physiological, etc., until self actualization. Maslow's need hierarchy or hierarchy of needs was proposed by Abraham Maslow in 1943. This is perhaps the most well known needs theory. It arranges human needs into a pyramid with the most basic physiological needs, example, food, water, shelter. So this is actually forming the base, followed by safety needs, belongingness and love needs, esteem needs, and self actualization needs at the top or at the apex or pinnacle of the pyramid, excuse me. Um, Alderfer's ERG theory, it's developed by Clayton Alderfer in 1969. It simplifies Maslow's hierarchy into three categories. Existence, this is similar to physiological and safety needs. Relatedness, this is the combination of belongingness and love needs with some aspects of esteem needs, and of course growth resembling self-actualization needs. So that's also the ERG model, or existence, relatedness, and growth. So these theories have provided valuable insights into understanding human motivation and have been used in various organizational contexts to design compensation structures. Also, it is used for benefits packages, formulation or preparation, and strategies for employee engagement. However, it's very important for us to note that needs theories have also faced criticism for oversimplifying the complexity of human motivation and for its limitations or the limited ability to explain individual variations in terms of motivation. Okay. McClelland need theories developed by psychologist David McClelland in the mid 20th century. It focuses on three fundamental needs that drive human behavior in the workplace and other settings. So, unlike Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which outlines a hierarchical sequence of needs, McClelland's theory identifies three distinct motivators. We have, um, okay, sorry for that. Before we proceed on McClellan, let's have first a question. Rachel has the desire to accomplish something difficult. So this relates to McClellan's need for A, affiliation, B, achievement, C, power, or D, glory. I'll give you time to answer while I am checking if we are still recording. Still recording. Okay. Going back to the question. Your answer? Desire to accomplish something difficult is a need for achievement. Okay, now let's go to McClelland's need theory. All right, the need for achievement is a need that is represented by the desire to excel, achieve, and surpass challenging goals. Individuals with a high need for achievement are motivated by situations where they can take on tasks that require effort, skill, and perseverance. They seek personal accomplishment, feedback on their performance, and opportunities for advancement. The need for affiliation is a need for is actually part of McClelland, of course. It centers on the desire for interpersonal relationships, social interaction, belongingness. Okay, individuals with a high need for affiliation thrive in environments that foster teamwork, cooperation, and positive social interactions. They value relationships, collaboration, and a harmonious work atmosphere. The need for power is a actually it pertains to the desire to influence and control others. It shapes the actions and decisions of the person who has this need for power. Individuals with a high need for power seek leadership positions. They also seek authority and opportunities to make an impact. They're often driven by the need to have influence and make a difference in the organization. Herzberg's motivator and hygiene model. So, this model has been influential in understanding the complexities of workplace motivation and has guided many organizations in designing strategies to improve employee satisfaction and productivity. So it's also known as the two factor theory. It is a prominent theory of workplace motivation proposed by Friedrich Herzberg in the 1950s. The theory suggests that there are two distinct sets of factors that influence job satisfaction and dissatisfaction. So it's actually operating independently. Let's watch this short video about the two factor theory or the Herzberg's theory.
Another important need theory of motivation is the two-factor theory, also called the dual structure theory. Let's take a look. Two-factor theory, the dual structure theory, identifies motivation factors which affect satisfaction and hygiene factors which determine dissatisfaction. The two-factor theory once played a major role in managerial thinking about motivation, and though few researchers today accept the theory, it is nevertheless still widely known and accepted among practicing managers. Frederick Herzberg and his associates developed the two-factor theory in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Herzberg began by interviewing approximately 200 accountants and engineers in Pittsburgh. He asked them to recall times that they felt especially satisfied and motivated by their jobs, and times that they felt particularly dissatisfied and unmotivated. To his surprise, Herzberg found that entirely different sets of factors were associated with the two kinds of feelings about work. People associated entirely different causes, such as recognition or achievement, with satisfaction and motivation. The findings led Herzberg to conclude that the prevailing thinking about satisfaction and motivation was incorrect. Herzberg research identified different influences from two different sets of factors. He argued that two different dimensions must be included. Thus, he saw motivation as a two-factor phenomenon, with motivation factors and hygiene factors serving different purposes. This figure illustrates the two-factor concept that there's one dimension ranging from satisfaction to no satisfaction, and another ranging from dissatisfaction to no dissatisfaction. The two dimensions must presumably be associated with the two sets of factors identified in the initial interviews. In addition, the figure lists the primary factors identified in Herzberg interviews. Motivation factors such as achievement, recognition, and the opportunity to plan and control their own work were often cited by people as primary causes of satisfaction and motivation. When present in a job, these factors apparently could cause satisfaction and motivation. When they're absent, they would result in feelings of no satisfaction rather than dissatisfaction. The other set of factors, hygiene factors, came out in response to the questions about dissatisfaction and lack of motivation. The respondents suggested that pay, job security, supervisors, and working conditions, if seen as inadequate, could lead to feelings of dissatisfaction. When these factors were considered acceptable, however, the person still was not necessarily satisfied. Rather, he or she was simply not dissatisfied. Unlike many other theorists, Herzberg described explicitly how managers could apply his theory. In particular, he developed and described a technique called job enrichment for structuring employee tasks. Because it's gained popularity so quickly, the two-factor theory has been scrutinized more than almost any other organizational behavior theory. The results have been contradictory, to say the least. The initial study by Herzberg and his associates supported the basic premises of the theory, as did a few follow-up studies. In general, studies that use the same methodology as Herzberg did, content analysis of recalled incidents, tend to support the theory. However, this methodology has itself been criticized, and studies that use other methods to measure satisfaction and dissatisfaction frequently obtain results quite different from Herzberg's. It's not surprising, then, that the two-factor theory is no longer held in high esteem by organizational behavior researchers. Indeed, the field has since adopted a far more complex and valid conceptualization of motivation. But because the initial popularity and its general guidance for application, the two-factor theory merits a special place in the history of motivational research.
Okay, just to have a quick review of the Herzberg's motivator and hygiene model, hygiene factors, or sometimes some books call it maintenance factors. So these factors, sometimes referred to as dissatisfiers or context factors, are related to the work environment and job conditions. They include aspects such as salary, job security, working conditions, company policies, and interpersonal relationships. When these factors are inadequate or problematic, they can lead to job dissatisfaction and unhappiness among employees. However, improving hygiene factors typically does not result in increased job satisfaction. It merely prevents dissatisfaction. Motivators, or in other books they called satisfiers, so on the, are factors that lead to job satisfaction and motivation. These factors are intrinsic to the job itself and include aspects such as achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, and advancement. According to Herzberg, enhancing these motivators can stimulate job satisfaction and increase employee motivation and engagement. Herzberg's theory suggests that improving hygiene factors can create a more comfortable and less dissatisfying work environment, but it won't necessarily lead to a motivated workforce. True motivation comes from the presence of motivators which encourage employees to be more productive and satisfied with their work. Have an exercise, Adam's equity theory of motivation. Okay, the equity theory is a model of motivation that explains how people strive for fairness and justice in social exchanges or give and take relationships. So there are two types of inequity. So actually, we have here the three different equity relationships. So we have equity, negative inequity, and positive inequity. Assume the two people in each of the equity relationships have equivalent backgrounds. For example, they have equal education, seniority, and so on and so forth. And they are performing identical tasks. Only their hourly pay rates differ. So equity exists for an individual with his or her ratio of perceived outcomes to inputs is equal to the ratio of outcomes to inputs for a relevant coworker. So because equity is based on comparing ratios of outcomes to inputs, inequity will not necessarily be perceived just because someone else's received greater rewards. If the other person's additional outcomes are due to his or her greater inputs, a sense of equity may still exist. However, if the comparison, for example, if you're comparing a person who enjoys greater outcomes for similar inputs, negative inequity will be perceived. On the other hand, a person will experience positive inequity when his or her outcome to input ratio is greater than that of a relevant coworker. Practical lessons for um, equity theory. No matter how fair management thinks the organization's policies, procedures, and reward system are, each employee's perception of the equity of these factors is what counts. Managers benefit by allowing employees to participate in making decisions about important work outcomes. Employees should be given the opportunity to appeal decisions that affect their welfare. Managers can promote cooperation and teamwork among group members by treating them equitably. Another lesson that we can derive from the equity theory: employees' perceptions of justice are strongly influenced by the leadership behavior exhibited by their managers. Managers need to pay attention to the organization's climate for justice. Question: at work, if Jamal's outcome to input ratio is greater than that of Tony's, his relevant coworker, Jamal, will experience A. Equity, B. No satisfaction, C. Positive inequity, or D. High dissatisfaction. So while you're thinking about the answer, just check if we are still online. Okay, we're still recording. All right. Jamal outcome to input is greater. So that is letter C, positive inequity. Okay, a goal is a specific and measurable objective of or uh, what we are trying to achieve in the future. Okay, goals provide direction, focus, and motivation. It guides efforts toward a desired outcome. They are essential component of personal and organizational planning and decision making. In the context of goal setting, okay, let's just first read what Locke and Latham published in 1990 define goal. What a goal is. A goal is a desired result that an individual or a group of people envisions, plans, and commits to achieving. People endeavor to reach goals within a finite time by setting deadlines. Okay, so in the context of goal setting, Locke and Latham actually provided a widely cited definition. Practical lessons from goal setting research underscore the importance of setting specific, challenging, and achievable goals. Locke and Latham's seminal work on goal setting theory highlights that clear objectives with measurable outcomes can significantly enhance motivation and performance. Setting deadlines and regularly monitoring progress are vital for goal attainment. Involving individuals in the goal setting provides feedback, uh, actually boosts commitment and engagement of employees. Practical applications of these lessons include designing a SMART, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals. It aligns them with organizational objectives and fostering a culture of accountability and continuous improvement. So essentially, goal setting research provides valuable guidance for individuals and organizations seeking to optimize effectiveness and achieve desired outcomes. Okay. Scientific management, developed by Frederick W. Taylor in the 20th century, significantly influenced the concept of goal setting in the workplace. Taylor's approach emphasized the application of systematic and scientific methods to manage and optimize work processes. Okay. Um, in goal setting, scientific management advocated for the establishment of clear, measurable performance standards and objectives. Workers were assigned specific tasks, and their performance was evaluated against predetermined goals. It fosters a more efficient and productive workforce. So, the approach actually laid the foundation for the modern practice of setting quantifiable and achievable goals in organizations, emphasizing the importance of goal clarity and measurement in driving performance and efficiency. Uh, Examples of top-down approaches: job enlargement. It involves putting more variety into a worker's job by combining specialized tasks of comparable difficulty. And job rotation, moving employees from one specialized job to another so that they can, be more motivated by enriching themselves with more knowledge, skills, and honing their abilities to do various tasks. So that's job enlargement and rotation. While job enrichment is building achievement, recognition, and stimulating work responsibility and advancement into a job. The job characteristics model, or the JCM, it's developed by Hackman and Oldham in the 1970s. It is a framework used to understand how specific job characteristics impact employee motivation and job satisfaction. So the model actually has five core job dimensions, and these are skill variety, task identity, task significance, and of course, feedback here. All right. Skill variety, the degree to which a job requires a range of different skills and tasks. Identity is the extent to which a job involves completing a whole, identifiable piece of work. While task significance, the impact and importance of a job's outcomes on other people or the organization. Okay. Autonomy is the level of independence and discretion an employee has in making a decision about their work. And lastly, feedback is the extent to which workers receive information about their performance. So according to the GCM model, when these core job dimensions are present and combined effectively, they lead to three psychological states: experience meaningfulness of work, experience responsibility of work outcomes, and knowledge results. So these psychological states, in turn, can enhance employee motivation, job satisfaction, and overall job performance. The title of our reading for the first module is Do Attitudes Towards Work or Work Motivation Affect Productivity Loss Among Academic Employees? So this is the abstract of your reading. I'll just read it fast. And of course, you have more time, at your own pace, to read the entirety of the research. Work motivation and job attitudes are important for productivity levels among academic employees. In situations where employees perceive problems, for example, health related and work environment related problems, the ability to perform at work could be affected, which may result in fewer publications, reduced quality, and less research funding. Few studies, however, have paid attention to productivity loss among academic employees in order to understand how or if the perceived loss is affected by the reported problems, either alone or in combination with more work motivation and job attitudes. To evaluate whether attitudes toward work, measured as job satisfaction, organizational commitment, and work motivation, are associated with productivity loss in the workplace, a cross sectional study was conducted. This type of design is required as performance is highly variable and is affected by changes in health and work status. The study includes employees who reported either health related problems, work environment problems, or a combination of both? There are 1,475 respondents. Linear regression analysis were used to answer the hypotheses. Higher levels of motivation, job satisfaction, and organizational commitment were associated with lower levels of productivity loss among employees who experience either health related or work environment problems. High work motivation and high commitment were significantly associated with lower levels of productivity among employees who experience a combination of problems. So, in summary of the research, productivity loss among academic employees is not only affected by health related problems or problems in the work environment, but also by work motivation, job satisfaction, and organizational commitment. That is, these factors seem to buffer or moderate the reduction in performance levels for the group of employees. What are we looking for? Trends in 2023 and then 2024. We're still in the beginning of 2024. So this can be a source of your topics for as consideration for your research for your doctoral degree or even for your courses in human resources management. Okay. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to email me about the topic that we discussed for today. We're looking forward to the second project, and that is the case study writing. So we are expected to write a certain case study. There is um, a format, suggested format that's given to us about this. So we're not expected to publish. Number five is not included, okay? So after this project, the candidate should be able to understand further the purpose and significance of case studies, learn how to structure and format a case study effectively, explore the research and data collection commonly used in case studies, and develop critical thinking, analytical, and communication skills. Number five is not included. So these are how we are going to be marked with our second project. So clarity and organization, 20%, relevance and depth of analysis, 20%, effective use of data and evidence, 15%, ethical considerations, 10%, writing style and presentation is 15%, adherence to assignment guidelines, 10%, and critical thinking and creativity is 10%. The project is due on or before the 16th of March 2024. Please, if you have questions about that or suggestions, let me know by email or we can have a separate meeting for this project. If you have questions, once again, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed week, and We hope that everything is fine and all right with you. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye.